What up, YouTube? You already know. Big Lou tapping back in. Well, what it do? With Big Lou, NFCR2. Baby, baby. Baya. So check it out. I'm not sure what thumbnail I'm going to use yet, but I'm pretty sure whichever one I'm going to use. Because after you upload the video, then you can put the thumbnail in the edit portion of the YouTube studio. Regardless, whatever thumbnail I end up using, I'm pretty sure you guys will pretty much get what the video is about or somewhat of a sense what it's about. You feel me? So, with that being said, let me hit you with the norm. First time you come into the channel, be highly appreciated if you sub, liked, and shared the channel with your family, friends, folks, peoples, buddies, pals, amigos, amicos, and like us, Puertorriqueños, Boricuas, Jibaritos, Potorros, Panas. You do that by first selecting the subscribe button, which is should be the black button on the bottom, underneath the screen, YouTube screen, the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and you select that subscribe, followed up by uh, the hitting the bell notification, then following it up by hitting all, and you'll be informed each and every time that something's uploaded from this channel. If it's a pre-recorded video like this here, a shorts, or a live stream, right? So with that being said and out the way, let's get into it. So if everybody knows, if you don't know, most everybody knows that I'm from California. What a lot of people don't know, and they get it confused, or me confused with somebody else, or they just think automatically that I'm from LA because I guess California, and people, automatically, this is the little quote unquote, right? The little, trying to be being a little cute when people do this, right? They associate people that looks like gangsters, Latinos especially, with LA, right? Which don't get me wrong, LA has a big influence on gangsterism and gang politics. Excuse me, gang transplanting. Put it that way. Majority of all the gangs in the United States all were influenced usually by LA and or Chicago, right? And I'm not gonna get into all the names and all that. I'm just not doing it. But you guys know, if you heard, if you're talking about South Carolina and a certain gang and certain name comes up, you know that came from Chicago. You're talking about, if you're in Oklahoma and city and a certain gang name comes up, you know it came from L.A. area. You know what I'm saying? If you're in Yakima, Washington, there's a certain gang up there, you know it came from Northern California, right? We'll just keep it at that, keep it short and simple, and you know, hopefully to the point that everybody gets without going into any type of details, because I don't like doing any of that and want no part of any of that. So what I'm getting at with this video, first of all, I'll give a little background. What part of the video, in June, the Supreme Court ruled, and I believe it was a majority, so it was either 6-3 or 5-4. That it was in cities and towns and counties, and I'm talking, speaking of law enforcement, starting with their city council and county board of council boards, or whatever they're called exactly for the counties. I'm not really sure, but definitely the city councils, starting with them, and then also going with state lawmakers, um, and which is that it's okay and not against the law for homeless people to be um, cited, fined, and arrested for being um, homeless, basically sleeping outdoors, right? And that goes with, there was an article that I didn't read it, but it came up the other day. It came up in a certain channel that I watch sometimes. They're in the community post. He had posted a link to another channel that they do like, I don't know, anywhere from like 3 minute to 10, 12 minute little videos, and it was regarding the city of San Francisco, and it was regarding pretty much them going and dismantling campment site. Excuse me, jeez, campsites. You know, like encampments, and then they're all together as a site, and it showed a garbage truck where they were loading up whatever they were getting off the street with the loader, the dump truck type deal. Dump truck in the back, but not, excuse me, not a dump truck. A loader, heavy equipment, with the scoop in the front, and they were just scooping stuff off the street and throwing it right into the dumpster, right into the garbage truck. And there was a cop there on site, obviously, and they were doing this without even giving these guys, because normally when they do something like that, especially like on the Caltrans, on the freeways, or underneath the freeway passes, they'll post something and let people know. They'll probably tell them verbally, and then they'll probably put a sign up at some point, or they might come tell them a couple times verbally, hey, this day, Thursday next week, or Thursday, two Thursdays from now, we're coming back, and whatever's still here around here, we're throwing it out. Well, this day in San Francisco, they didn't do any of that. They just came and started throwing stuff away, and a lot of people got caught in their tents as they were, scooping stuff off the ground. And one of the police officers, he has a vest on, the construction vest. They come in either orange or fluorescent green, and they got the reflectors on that and all that. And the cop's backs to us, but he's saying that no more. The mayor don't want it. He says the mayor don't want this no more. I think he even says the Governor Newsom. And so Governor Newsom gets tied in this too, because Governor Newsom gets a lot of criticism, right? Because the spending and all that. And so Governor Newsom is finally getting tired of it too, because, and if you guys don't know, Governor Newsom, I mean, some people would say he shouldn't do this, and other people was, they say why he's doing it. And this, what he does is every so often he goes out there, he puts gloves on, he puts some work clothes on, and he goes out there in the cities that are usually hit hard by this situation, which is usually it's LA area, but Oakland, San Francisco, Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, um, Salinas, those cities up north. And I'm pretty sure that I mentioned LA, but I mean it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. And he usually goes out there with some people from his team, and he goes out there picking up trash and throwing it away, right? And he's done this numerous times since he's been a governor, and I think he did it with his lieutenant governor as well. Some would look at that and say, well, why is he showing that he's doing that? He's doing that for what? It's like what people say when some people give people money or buy them, you know, um, I remember not too long ago, there's a rapper from San Jose, California, right? Big dude. What they call him? Big Mister, I think they call him. Something Mister. And he posted on his Instagram, or yeah, I think it was Instagram, that they were trying to help out single moms. And this was during school startup. This is like about 3-4 years ago. And he posted that he gave a kid, he didn't say the names or showed the people, but he showed some shoes, a backpack, a couple pairs of Levi's. It might have been 4 or 5 pairs. I don't really remember exactly. And I remember at least one pair of shoes. Anyways, some people in the comment section says, "Why do you post that stuff? Are you looking for a pat on the back?" And I don't think it's really that all the time for some people. For some people, it's to get other people motivated to help, right? Um, but then on the other hand, you got some jive ass deadbeat motherfuckers that don't do jack shit for the kids, never have for years, but then they post shit that they're, oh, look at the backpack drive, look at the candy bar drive, look at the whatever drive it is, right, for kids, and have the audacity to post that like they're some, number one dad, and they don't do jack shit for the kids. And it's not just one kid, two kids, it's multiple kids they got. That shit's weird, right? And their partners should be calling them out on that shit. I don't get that shit. It's a trip. So, it could be either way, right? It could be either way. Now, for like Gavin Newsom, like I said, it could be him putting these places on blast, these towns and counties on blast, because look, I didn't routed all this money to you guys for this problem, and it ain't getting nowhere. We're in the same damn position, if not worse. And so he's putting them on blast as to say, put your gloves on and your dirty clothes on and come, your work clothes, and come out here and help, because this is part of your fault. This is part of your this is shit falls on you, you know, as being the mayor or the manager, city manager, county manager, whatever those positions that are involved with that, right? So you could look at it both ways, but Gavin Newsom now is, I've heard him talk a few times about this, and he's ready to start redirecting this money elsewhere since certain places are not doing shit about it, right? But at the same time, people got to realize too that just there's, because I was watching the thing on Kensington yesterday on Peter Santinello's, I think his last name is Santinello or Santinello or something like that. Peter, he's got about 3 million subscribers, and he goes to different locations and he records, and somebody will invite him that's from that town or that city and walk him through the play through the town and show him historical places and historical events that went down here or there, and then they'll also show the crime, what's going on, and uh, some of the drug use and some of the some of the other situations that those towns might have, right? And so they're walking through Kensington, and this guy happened to be a pastor, and he runs a program with beds and all that, and he showed a couple of his facilities. It's pretty big. And so he walks around also when he sees people like look like they're not out. He goes around, wakes them up, make sure they're okay. And so, anyways, they're talking about different things, and he's saying that the mayor's on board, and he made a good point in the video is that you can't have uh, the police chief and the leadership, or some cities they got the police commission, right? Is it the commission? The police commissioner. They got the police commissioner, and they oversee the police department, right? I think that's how it goes in Philadelphia. Um, and then you got the police chief, right? And you got the mayor, and all these people that are involved. They need to be on the board with the same project, with the same plan, right? With the same projection as far as how to attack the problem. You can't have the police doing something different than what's been planned, as far as with the city, maybe even with the city leaders, as far as on the council, and then as far as religious leaders too, because they got a big voice in communities, right? Um, and on top of that, you got your old timers, not only your old timers, but your OGs that are from those neighborhoods that been through the system and been through different different trials and tribulations in his or her life, and they've came out okay, right? They came out okay, and I'm not talking about attacking it from a from a book, right? From learning from a book, right? Because you got a lot of programs and counselors, people that's never had an addiction, that's never been through any of that stuff, but yet they're speaking like, they're speaking from what they learned, and I think a lot of people don't take well to that. They take more well to somebody that's been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of that has a big play in it. But when it's said and done, though, a lot of these people don't want to come off the streets. It just is what it is. There's plenty of help out there. There's plenty of programs. Yeah, sometimes the programs do get full impact, but I guarantee you that somebody every day is leaving that program, right? Or any program for that matter. But the thing is, a lot of people, when they get stable in a place and they're supposed to be taking meds, now they got to start taking their meds, and they don't want to take their meds because they think that they got it now. After being on their meds so long, they think, oh, I'm okay, and they stop taking their meds. And a lot of them don't want to get back on it. That's one reason. Another reason is because they don't like uh, uh, structure. They feel like, oh, I've done all this time in prison, so I want to go to a program and have to confine to more rules and stuff, right? And I can say I'm guilty of that, right? I mean, with my attitude and stuff, not exactly that. What I'm saying is something similar, where I don't want to be challenged, or I don't want to be you know what I mean? I don't want to confide in shit. I run this mug. You know what I mean? That type of shit. But at some point, you got to realize my way ain't working. It hasn't worked for 20 plus years or 10 plus years, or how long it's been since you've been struggling or whatever it might be. And that's when you got to break it down like a 12 gauge shotgun and just say, I need help, or go to somebody and say, I need help, and be humble about it, and open your mind, and the rest will follow. Doom, doom, doom. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Remember that? In Vogue, baby. Anyways, so that's big issue, right? Another thing is people just like to be on the street. They think they're gonna miss something. With all the excitement, with the sirens and the people running through your camp because they're running from somebody, or they're running from the police, or They might just miss the bochinchin, right? The what people other Latino nationalities call chisme, the 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 gossip, the gossip scene of it, right? Whatever. And so that's a big problem, right? So, and then too, a lot of people lost so much and lost everything they owned, where they lost their identification, their social security, and their birth certificate. A lot of those things are kind of hard to get if you don't have money, transportation. It's basically just just money, basically. You know what I'm saying? If you're not born, you got to get with the county that you're born at. So maybe you're living on the West Coast now, but you're born in New York, or you're born in, uh, you know, uh, Delaware, or you're born somewhere else like that. Or, and not to mention, if you're born in another country, but you're a citizen. I'm not sure how you go about that, right? Getting your birth certificate and all that. Social Security, you got to go in there, and you're sitting in there for hours if you don't have an appointment. Same thing with your ID and driver license. You'll be sitting in there for a few hours. A lot of times people just don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way it is. And so, anyways, that's where I'm going with that. And you know, um, you know, now I think I even read in that thing that San Francisco, it's like they're gonna make you go to, all part of what I was saying earlier about the Supreme Court saying that yes, the towns can continue to cite, fine, and jail people for being outside sleeping. Um, Part of the answer to that, as far as in San Francisco, is to make them go to a program. I don't know how that's going to work because, like I said, all those things I just mentioned, right? They're not going to take kindly to being hogtied and being dropped off in a program. You know what I'm saying? So this is an article. Let's see, Vanguard, from Vanguard. So this is written on September 5th, right? Which is today, September 5th, 2024. Okay, housing element, right? And the title of it is Governor Newsom announces he'll sign enforcement bill. Okay, so here we go. Sacramento, on Wednesday, Governor Newsom announced he would sign into law SB 1037, a strong housing enforcement bill sponsored by Attorney General Bob Bonta and authored by Senator Scott Wiener. The bill strengthens the Attorney General's ability to enforce state housing law with fines against cities that commit egregious violations of the law. This heightened enforcement will create stronger incentives for cities to comply with the housing law, with the state housing bill. So there it goes there. So instead of them fining people, I guess um, they're going to start finding and taking away incentives for states that money that they're being delegated from the governor and Congress, or the state houses. Let's see. When we pass state housing laws, we mean it. And when cities flagrantly violate these laws, they must know they will face consequences. That's what that senator said, right? But I kind of heard Newsom saying that the other day, right? Without saying it like that. He just said, certain counties, and it was pretty much about LA County because that's where he was picking up stuff at, and he said it's an ongoing deal there. That other towns are doing a lot better than other towns and cities, and so LA, I'm pretty sure, is the one he was speaking of. He is releasing all this money to this effort for the homeless, and nothing's getting done. As far as in a positive manner, in a positive, in a better alleviating manner. Something with better solutions. And it hasn't been going down. So SB 1037 enhances the Attorney General's ability to seek civil penalties in court against local governments that violate state housing law. Currently, when a court finds a uh, lo- when a court finds a locality in violation of state housing law, monetary penalties can only be imposed 60 days, or in some cases up to a year after a court has ordered compliance. California has made remarkable progress reforming our broken housing approval system in recent years, but our housing laws are only as strong as our enforcement, the senator said. Newsom and Attorney General California have shown tremendous leadership, holding cities like Elk Grove accountable for illegally blocking housing production. Let's see, he added, I'm thrilled that the governor is continuing that commitment to meeting California's housing goals by vowing to sign SB 1037 into law to provide the Attorney General with better tools for swift accountability when cities engage in egregious violations. Local governments thus have no real incentive to follow the law since they can force the state to sue, lose, and then simply remedy the violation at that point and avoid penalties. This is a huge waste of taxpayer resources and undermines California's housing goals. And that's the thing. That's what he's talking about, right? So that's part of Newsom's point is that it's the game that they'll play, like it just said right there, how it wastes taxpayers' dollars, and it undermines what the goal is, right? Because they'll just you know they have no real incentives to lose, or no real incentives to lose for them to follow the law, right? For when it comes to housing, um, and it forces the state to sue, but then they'll either lose or they'll win or they'll be put on hold, and then simply remedy the violation at that point and avoid penalties. So they can, so it's basically like going back, 4 or 5 steps. You know what I'm saying? And then when you get pushed on by the state, and it starts going through the court system before the judgment is rendered, then you go forward 1 step to make it look like you're going towards progress. You know what I'm saying? Under SB 1037, the general can instead seek penalties that are assessed from the date that the housing law violation began. Those penalties would be earmarked for affordable housing in the same jurisdiction. SB 1037 applies to local governments that refuse to adopt a compliant housing element and or violate a ministerial approval law. If enacted, SB 1037 will subject violators to a minimum civil penalty of $10,000 per month and not to exceed $50,000 per month. For violations calculated from the date the violation started, the penalty money would be earmarked to support the development of affordable housing located in the affected jurisdictions. Under the state's housing element law, every city and county in California must periodically update its housing plan to meet its share of the regional and statewide housing needs. Laws requiring ministerial or streamlined approval include Government Code sections 65852.2 and 65852.22, which allow homeowners to add accessory dwelling units, as well as Assembly Bill AB 2011 concerning affordable housing projects located in commercial zones. Ministerial review is where public officials such as local planning staff ensure that a proposed development meets all applicable objective standards for a proposed action. So, from my understanding of that, they're gonna charge penalties from minimum $10,000 a month to $50,000 for each violation, calculated from the date of the violation started. So they could be hitting these, the counties could be getting hit with a few violations, 4 or 5 violations, for 6 months at a time, and you're talking anywhere from 60 to uh, 300,000 a month, right? And then that money will be redirected, right? Let's see, it would be earmarked to support the development of affordable housing located. So the money will be redirected right back into the program, into the law that was violated, into the program of, uh, the homelessness, right? And then it says here that under the state's minimum element law, every city and county in California must periodically update its housing plan to meet its share of regional and statewide housing needs. So, like I was saying, the county or city can half step, not make no moves towards putting that money that was, uh, allocated towards them from the government, right, from the governor in the state house, and then go take it all the way to when they're gonna get a judgment against them, and then go forward a little bit to make it look like they're getting back on track. So with this plan, having to update their plan periodically every month. Did it say every month? Let's see. Periodically update. It had to periodically update his housing plan. That way that it could be, the governor and his administration will know, and whoever else he tasked with this, as being the czar or whatever for this project. Um, they'll be up to par of what's really going on and what they're doing with the money and where they're at in their plan, and and where's going forward and what's the good points and the bad points, and they could be on top of it better that way. I mean, at least that's what the plan should be on this, right? Let's see. SB 1037 applies only in jurisdictions that have acted arbitrarily, not to cities that make good faith errors. Excuse me. The fines generated by Bill's civil penalties will be deposited into an affordable housing fund for use in offending cities. So, from my understanding, it only applies in the jurisdictions that have acted arbitrarily. So that means the cities and counties that are going towards court, um, that they're not compliant and they're trying to go that way. Um, that's where they'll be the ones those will be the jurisdictions, not ones that are trying to do good, but then somehow they goofed up on something that ended up not working out right. A good faith error. And then the fines, some people would say, because it says the fines generated by Bill's civil penalties will be deposited into an affordable housing fund for use in the offending cities. See, now some people would say, well, look, you already got a fund, so you're already saying people are going to fail. They're already going to fail, so you're already looking for people to, to jack, so to say, to penalize. But I wouldn't go with that shit because they've been doing it to themselves. I mean, look at Gavin's been president. He's been governor already for a few years, um, and he's been releasing money to these cities and counties for at least the past 2-3 years, at least two, we'll say, and they haven't been doing nothing, right? God damn, man, this guy gotta be a fucking pain in the ass like that. You know what I mean? So, anyways, uh, anyways, some will say that, and I don't think that's cool. You know, I don't think that's cool. They shouldn't do that. God damn, dude. Um, that people shouldn't say that because you're gonna complain about the problem. Everybody. I've heard people from sports writers, Stephen A. Smith, talking shit to all kinds of different people. Um, and I don't see them really. I mean, maybe they do, but I don't see it. I haven't heard it. All I hear is them complain. And it's not them just complaining about one thing. It's them complaining about it's them complaining about the homeless. Then they're complaining about the migrants. Then they're complaining about it's like, come on, man. Uh, you're just complaining and you ain't giving your peace of mind other than throw more shit on the or more flames or throwing more gas in the fire or however you want to say it, right? Um, Way out of your league. It's not in your realm. It's not in your lane. Step the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Don't just criticize and bash something if you're not going to try to help. And I don't mean by money or even getting out there physically trying to help, but just help in the matter of speaking somewhat in a positive manner. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's a big crisis going down with the homeless, right? But people just speak on shit without even knowing the ins and outs. That's why I like that dude Peter's channel. Peter Santa something, because he goes around and he actually goes around and talks to people, right? He goes around and talks to people uh, and he gets firsthand info. You know what I'm saying, from these people. Um, they take him around. He actually gets to see stuff firsthand. I mean, in a matter of just feet away from some of the situations. And he's always amazed by new things he learns. You know what I'm saying? And because a lot of times they're insiders giving them information. Like sheriffs who are elected officials. Therefore they can come out and speak. Police chiefs can't because they have a boss, right? It's either the police commission, and then you got or the mayor, or the mayor. You know what I'm saying? And so their hands are kind of tied at times, but it's just a big problem. But don't just talk shit about stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Try to look into things and figure some things out about what's really going on, and then maybe get some insight. What you think, what you know, and what you think what you think might work, what you think might should be changed, and then change to this, or just eliminate it doing that and just go this route or whatever, right? But just to get on TV and talk shit, because it's another narrative to. I don't care what it is. Everybody that comes out talking shit, where they're just talking shit, just talking out their side of their neck or their arse, right, without really thinking about stuff, is you can figure it out right then and there. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I mean? So with that being said, Big Lou's gonna tap out on this one. I might drop another one later tonight, but I don't want to get caught up making hour videos. Um, this is 30 minutes. I spoke a lot. I think I I read that. I came up about other things, L.A. and San Francisco. Um, so let me know what you guys think, and catch you on the next one.